Hey there, and welcome to Money and You. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. My search for more fulfilling work led me to career and business coaching, where I stumbled upon a game-changing discovery. Money issues often start with our mindset and habits. You see, our relationship with money is the key to overcoming those frustrating financial obstacles. As an entrepreneur, coach, and problem solver, I'm passionate about helping you create a great relationship with money. Because, turns out, that's the foundation for a limit-free life. Each week on Money and You, I speak with amazing guests about all things money, mindset, practical tips, and everything in between. We're here to give you new insights, education, and empowerment so money can be one of your favorite relationships. So join us for some lively conversations and let's transform your financial life together. Hello, and welcome to a really fun episode of the Money and You Show. I am on the cusp of my 200th show, and I'm super excited about that. And that, of course, made me think, wow, how have I been doing all of these shows? Because I had the Limit Free Life show, which was, 3 years in the making, or I did it for 3 years. And now we've done 200 episodes of the Money and You Show, which was the follow-up from that. And all the time I've been working with Tony Sweet, who has been, he's been Universal Broadcasting Network and then UBN Go, when it switched more to a podcast platform from kind of a radio platform. And he's now got actually a little bit of a rebrand going on as well. But Tony has been a really, really important person in my life for all of these years now. And he basically introduced me to podcasting. I was a guest on a podcast at his studio. And then we started talking and I got really interested in the whole format of podcasting. It was super fun. And so I started with him, and he has basically been producing them all and teaching me and mentoring me. And it's been a really lovely time doing this podcast. And so I wanted to bring Tony on the show because right now, every business coach out there is basically telling everyone you need to have a podcast. And people are jumping in and starting their own podcasts. And so, if you've been curious about it at all as an individual who wants to do it for fun, or as a business owner who wants to do it, also for fun, but also for marketing, or for any reason that anybody might be looking at it, I really wanted to bring Tony on to talk about it. Podcasting is a fabulous, fun way to go. I have loved every minute of it. It's honestly been one of my favorite things I've been doing the last several years. Working with clients would be number one, podcasting number two. And I wanted Tony to kind of, answer some maybe unasked questions in your head about, can you make money as a podcaster? I mean, what does it mean for me to do this? How much do I have to put into it, to get some return from it? Do I even care about a return? How would I do it if I just wanted to do it for fun? So anyway, Tony, I would love to welcome you in to talk about just the whole world of podcasting. You are the expert.
I don't know about that, but thank you, Michelle. And
well,
first
I know
of all,
about it, so
congratulations.
I know how long you've been doing it, and I also realized when I came on with you that I didn't have a bio ready. So I'm going to ask you to give a little history of all your experience in this world.
So yeah, actually, first of all, congratulations, because coming up on 200 next week is an accomplishment that majority of the people don't even reach in the podcast world or even television world or anything. So that's a big congratulations to you, because I know the hard work that it takes. But I started in podcasting. I guess it wasn't even podcasting at the time. It was called internet radio in 2008, which, what is that, 16 years ago?
Yeah.
I currently am doing a show that actually was kind of a rebrand of my own. I started doing Truth Be Told, which is a paranormal podcast, and we're coming up on 1,100 episodes. Wow. And so I did a show before that called On Air with Tony Sweet, which was more of an entertainment show. And so I had 800 episodes of that. So if you add them up, I'm close to 2,000 episodes, which is crazy to think of. But yeah, so when I started, it was a very, I think I looked at the statistics. I could be wrong. There were 18,000 podcasts worldwide when I started. And I'm sure majority of those are not even on air anymore, or the people are not on air anymore. So I feel very fortunate to see kind of like how television started or FM radio started. It was a beginning of a new media era. And I just saw the potential, and that's why I stayed in this industry, kind of for selfish reasons, because I also wanted to work with people and help build their brands, give them a voice that majority of people didn't have an opportunity to speak about their personal life, their business, something they stand for. And I think this platform has taken over the media and is not going anywhere. So it changes like everything else. But, we're kind of not even at the peak yet of what podcasting can do. So, I mean, that's my background. I actually started because I was on a reality show.
You want to tell us which one?
Well, it was called The Gospel Dream. It was a singing competition.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was out of Nashville. My nephew is the reason it happened. It kind of just was fate, I guess. He would tried out for American Idol, didn't make it. He wanted to come out and live with me to try to be a singer. I said, try out for everything. American Idol, any competition, anything you could do. And I saw this audition for Gospel Dream. It was a gospel music channel out of Nashville. And I said, just go. Even if you don't like the music or whatever. But luckily we did. But he said, well, I'll go if you go. If you audition with me. And I'm like, I don't want to audition. He's like, no, go. So I went. I ended up getting the top 3 in LA. And so I made it to Nashville. I know. I got kicked off the first week. It's okay. I'm not, no bitter feelings. But when I started touring a little bit of going around to different churches and different events, I was like, I really would love to reach people where you don't have to necessarily go anywhere. I can just stay at home and people can listen to me, hear my voice, hear my inspiration, whatever it was. And then that's when I found this little station that still is in existence. They started a year before I started doing my show. So, I started speaking. My first show, it was just me. I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know if anybody would ever listen. And then I ended up becoming one of the top on that network and one of the first to get people in the calling in or coming in as celebrities. And so it just started from there and grew. And now I've produced thousands of podcasts over the years and worked with celebrities and amazing, beautiful people like Michelle Perkins.
Oh, thank you, Tony. You're amazing. I mean, you make it so much fun, and you're also just so you made it easy. I mean, I remember my first podcast over there at Sunset Gower too, and I was so nervous, and I didn't know if I could ever force the words to come out of my mouth. And you guys just made it easy. And, I wanted to say something about that because there's a lot of people out there who are like, no, don't go to the studio. You don't need any help. You go in your closet and you get a microphone and you buy these 2 things and then you talk. And, there's a lot more to it than that. Yeah. Can you do it? Yes. I mean, many, many people do. Is it kind of lonely? Yes. I would actually hate to do it that way. And also there's there's the audio and video and all the technical aspects of it that, in all honesty, I would prefer to pay for it than, there's a little bit of a opportunity cost there, and it would be a big learning curve for me, and it would also be a little bit of a headache. So I love that you take care of all of that. And So, it's an interesting choice to make because people talk, I love to talk about money, as Tony knows. He's been listening to me talk about it for a
But I've
while.
learned a lot.
Good. Side benefit. But you really have to think about that money that you're saving by sitting in your closet doing it yourself versus what else you could be doing with your time.
Right.
And in terms of the other parts of it. So I actually I have loved being part of your world, which is changing because as I look at your name on the screen, I'm seeing podexperience.com and no longer ubn.com. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, I think if when many people, especially entrepreneurs or people in any type of business, there comes a point where you feel like your branding needs to change with the times. And so UBN kind of didn't really explain what we were and what we do. And before that was Universal Broadcasting Network. Again, it was more standard, but like I said, and plus I knew once video became really big, Universal Studios, Universal Pictures, all that could be very not like, since they probably owned it. So I was just like, I'm not even going to try to compete against that. So, but I thought Pod Experience would be a great brand for us because being podcast in the experience of 16 going on 17 years, working with people from every industry you can think of, from startup to distribution, and even just seeing the growth of how these people, I just thought this would be a great opportunity to change to a new name and a new brand. And I always say, podcasting is your personal brand equity. So that's how it kind of changed the name as I moved out of Burbank also.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love a transition, and you've made a couple of them, and that's good. That's growth. Mm-hmm. So I miss you.
I miss you too. That's the thing. The good thing we have Zoom, but there's nothing like seeing people in person. So
yeah. Well, and you were one of the first people to bring the video aspect to this format.
In LA, I was the first that I know of. I'm sure there's people, I'm not the first to invent it, but I'm sure, I think I started in 2011 the quality was not the greatest, but yeah, I was one of the first to add video into video podcasting. So
yeah, it's great. And it gives you so many more marketing opportunities too, to have the video, obviously. I'm really curious, for the people out there thinking about it, because you've seen so much. So you've seen podcasters make money with their podcasts. You've seen them not make money with their podcasts. There are some, there's a lot of intrigue around it, and there are also some myths out there. So I thought it'd be great if you can, for people considering this, if you're considering it as an option to help either your business make more money or to use it to make money in itself, to somehow monetize it. Right. What would you say to people?
Well, just a few myths that we kind of talked about. One of the first one, that you need expensive gear and everything to create one. That's not true. And I always said, I'm kind of just, you can cook at home every day, but I have the buffet waiting for you at a reasonable price. That's, it's kind of really that type of scenario. And a couple more myths about, you're going to get listeners right away. Unless you're a celebrity or somebody that already had a huge following, it takes time, and it's an investment. It took me a year before, I really, myself, that years ago, that I really started noticing a change in my viewership. And we didn't have everything, the Facebook, we did have all that stuff, but the Instagram wasn't there yet. TikTok wasn't there yet. Even YouTube was just barely underway. So, there wasn't even a platform for podcasting on YouTube at the time. And podcasting is an easy way to make money. No, it's not at least at the beginning, but I know people think that, I need millions of downloads. That's not necessarily true. One thing that I've noticed over the years is the podcasting, the analytics, and the distribution companies have really changed the game when it comes to the way podcasts have been listened to and how advertisers are attracted to podcasts, because distribution companies, it used to be if you were a subscriber, even if you didn't listen to it, you got the download. And so, or if somebody just clicked, it's kind of like clicked on your YouTube channel and listened to like 10 seconds of it, you got a view, and that's what it used to be. But now, about a year and a half ago, they changed it to where not only you have to download it, you have to listen to a certain percentage of the show to get considered the download. So it cut back a lot. So I think that was advertisers going, listen, you have 1 million downloads. How come I'm not seeing the return? And so the advertisers or the distribution companies are like, okay, well, we'll fix this. So, but the thing is, so it's not the downloads, it's the engagement. And it's like, I guess it's like a mom and pop shop. As long as you have the locals supporting you, you don't need, the whole city. You just need your community to support you. And so, it's not the size, it's the impact.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. That's great to hear, because, and I love that you kind of warn people about the time. I mean, it doesn't happen quickly. And I experienced this, but then I heard other, big names actually talking about podcasting. It takes time. You have to stick with it. It is a long game. There are benefits for sure to come from it, but it's not going to happen that quickly unless, like you say, you are already a huge name.
Well, it's even funny because I've worked with some nice sized celebrities, and I'm going to use one. I'll give you a name. The other one, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to embarrass them. But one, like Little House on the Prairie, this is their 51st years since the air. They started last year for their 50th anniversary. They only planned on going 1 year for their 50th. Well, it did so well because, these people like Nellie Olson, Allison Arngrim and Almanzo, Dean Butler, they tour all the time for these conventions and stuff. So they've always kept their following going. And then new generations are constantly watching Little House all over the world. And so their podcast does really well. And so they started a Patreon, which now they have enough subscribers not only to cover their costs, but they're, putting money back to where they're reinvesting it into growing not only their brand, but starting other projects because of it.
Wow. Versus
another one who was a celebrity that came in, had a pretty decent following, but unfortunately, you can't go just because of your name and say, I'm not going to do anything to promote it, and I'm not going to put effort into it other than just show up and do it. Well, their podcast didn't do very well. So it's one of those things. If you think you're just going to get on air and never tell anybody about it, it's not going to grow. I always said if American Idol started on season 1 and they didn't advertise and never talked about it, nothing would ever grow. It wouldn't grow.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And the Patreon idea is a good one. That is one way to kind of monetize what you're doing. What else have you seen that's helped bring in some extra revenue for people?
Well, actually, I think even for yourself, it's, well, it's for yourself and I have to take it even for me, I don't normally even go on somebody else's podcast. I don't put myself out there to really like do any speaking engagements. And I probably should. And same as to you. You know, I know you go to a lot of places to watch other people. I'm like, but why is Michelle not putting herself out there to be doing speaking and being on other podcasts as guest? Because I think you can make money by doing speaking engagements, and also just making money by promoting your podcast on other people's podcasts, which then brings more viewers, which more viewers means more opportunity for sponsors or advertisers, or even just money off downloads.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That is huge. And I have, in fact, heard from a couple of people lately that guesting on other people's podcasts has made a much bigger difference than their actual podcast that they have, being the host. And so I did start doing a little, I haven't told you, I guess, but I have done about 4 of them lately.
Good for you.
So
That
I'm going
helps.
to keep adding. And it's fun. You know, I forgot that being a guest was fun because I've been hosting for a while. And I think as a host, you really try to highlight the guests and you're really focused on them, and
highlight yourself.
they're getting all the airtime. And so really the marketing benefit is for the guest in many cases. That said, there are things you can do as a host that I maybe have not done as well as I should have to promote yourself as well.
Because even a Patreon, I mean, for you, let's say even if you had 10 people, 10 people, if you're saying if you pay this amount of money for 10 people, but I'm going to give you advice or direction that you'll never hear on my podcast, only in Patreon, that you're going to have one-on-one with me. Somebody's going to say, you know what? Hey, I do this Patreon. It's only $10 a month, and blah, 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 blah. And then there's other people going to grow. That's how I don't do it myself. I need to.
You definitely need to, because you've got some very interesting things that you could do with that.
But like you said, when you're the host, you don't really highlight anybody else. And so people don't know you as being that person. Like, even we didn't like him, like Rush Limbaugh, or certain people that do like solo shows.
Right.
I wish I had that. I mean, I probably could. You could. I guarantee you could, because you do. Actually, you do a lot of solo shows. But so people can really go, well, she knows what she's talking about. And I think that's what people need to realize, is not only have guests, but also highlight yourself, so people really respect you and know that you're legit. Especially if you're trying to sell a product or sell a business or sell a genre of, business or anything. Like mine's paranormal. It's like people need to know that you belong there. And I'm going to tune in every week to listen to you.
Yeah, I love that. It is, the old know, like, and trust factor that everybody always talked about with sales. I think podcasting has really done that for people. And, the people I listen to, you almost, you do definitely, you stop listening if you don't know, like, or trust them. I mean, obviously you know that, but you get this real, after listening to enough podcasts, you really feel like you know this person, and you can really evaluate whether they know what they're talking about. And so I do think it's a really powerful platform for marketing. But what else do you see people using podcasting for?
Well, I noticed very quickly. I always said there's 3 podcasters, 3 types of podcast. There could be more, but just from what I've seen, there are people that really want to start building their brand, building a business, promoting their book, and something, and that's more of the business base. And then you have the people that's saying, listen, I don't care if there's one person listening. I just like to hear myself talk. I just want to go on with my friends and have a good time. It's just something fun for us to do. And then you have the people that are more of the activist. The people are like, listen, it's going to be a small base. I'm dedicated to my cause, and this is what I want to promote and highlight and build my coalition from there. And so those are really the three types of people that I feel that really care about doing podcasting.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's interesting to know too, because it's it's got a great deal of value in any of those kind of scenarios.
In fact, though, if you think about what I've done, like I said, I started with entertainment, and first I started because I'm part of the LGBT community. I started as the first gay Christian podcast in America.
Oh wow! I didn't know.
Yeah, there was none like it. And then about a year in, I said, there's too much politics in all this. I don't want to be a part of it. So I did entertainment show. And after many years of doing that and 800 episodes, I thought, I love interviewing these celebrities, from Oscar winners and Grammys and all that stuff. But the problem is they're kind of boring. I mean, after a while they get boring. And I was like, okay, I could tell you their answers and how that's why I started dealing more of their personal lives versus just their television shows. And so that's when I switched over to the paranormal, which now I've built brands off that. I've built not only Pod Experience, Club Paranormal Network, which is now I have 6 podcasts under the brand of just paranormal or spirituality, and so or metaphysical. And then also I created Parapod Festival, which I did put on a huge paranormal festival a few years ago. And now it's Parapod Events, where now I'm having the Parapod Awards, which on Monday, which I think when this goes out today, we're announcing the winners of the Parapod Awards, which is for paranormal podcasters, which there is, as far as I know, there's not one specific awards show just for paranormal. We might be included in podcast awards, but not specifically just for the paranormal. And so then I started Earthly Beings Foundation, which is a ancient cultural restoration where we try to preserve our ancient cultures from each history from Africa to Latin America to European descent to Native American, and trying to really put on events and things to preserve lost traditions of all cultures. So I've built brands besides just Pod Experience. And the same can happen for anybody. Like I said, I always say, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
No, I don't know if that's true, but that's really impressive. And I think what happens too, as you do the ideas, one thing I love about podcasting is you're always learning, and it's just inspires so many new ideas. And so as you're talking about these things, it's very easy. I found that with myself too, to get inspired to add more, avenues to your existing business. So,
how about the Money in You Festival or Money in You Conference? Why not, Michelle? Why not?
Well, you've made me think about a few things, so we'll talk about them. Right. But this is great. And so, if somebody is, there is the guesting part. Do you have any advice for people who just want to, at least, because that's kind of how I started. That's how I got interested in it, was by being a guest.
There's actually there's a lot. Before, no, there was not a lot of places or people to go to, because even back in the day, agents and managers and all that wouldn't even allow their clients to go on. But now that's their first place they look is podcasts. But there are companies out there that will, I think Guestpert and some other podcasts or companies that will help you get on other podcasts, which again, I think even if you want to start a podcast before you launch, why not? If you have a book and you're going to start a podcast in a month, go out, do your tour and promote your book and promote your upcoming podcast. Or if you're starting a skincare, if you want to start a podcast on how to create your own skincare line, you can use podcasting for anything. I mean, podcast starts with a passion, but it only but it survives with financial discipline. And I think that's something that people have to realize, that no matter what you do, this is a brand of yours. You are the brand, and even if you're doing it for fun, it's still your brand. And you can say you're really in that entrepreneur world. And like some entrepreneurs, some of us are better than others, but it's something that I think people should really get out there and explore it, and then also be on other people's podcasts. I need to do it myself. So thank you, Michelle, for...
Yeah. I know we're helping each other here.
I know. I haven't done this in a long time.
That really kind of summarizes the beauty of podcasting. There's something about a conversation that just, I don't know, it just sparks so many new thoughts. And maybe it's just because we're in our heads a lot, and when somebody else is there in the room and we get into their heads, we learn more. It's like a mastermind almost. So, and I just want to say, we are about out of time, but I want to say one of the thrills for me about doing this podcast is that I've been able to connect and meet and talk to people I would have otherwise never met in my life. They're from all over the country, the world. I would never have found them. There would have never been a reason for us to cross paths. Yeah. And yet when you have a podcast, people want to come on and talk. And it's just been, I feel so happy for the people I've met through the podcast. And it's been really enriching and just so enjoyable. And you really feel like your whole professional network grows enormously.
I have to say, being a little boy from Kansas, in a town of 150 people, I would have never in my life thought I would meet some of the people that I admired, that I watched on television and movies, listened to their music, and just meeting people like you that, have become dear friends, and just because of podcasting, because of the world that I'm in. And so, I always will appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we were able to do this. I know you're busy, and you help me, but you don't come on and talk to me as much. So
I know.
That's great.
Well,
and Tony, how can people reach out to you if their wheels are turning and they're like,
of course.
I want to talk to him.
Listen, you can be anywhere. You can be anywhere in the world. I've had people that lived in France did a podcast with me. So you can be anywhere in the world. Just go to podexperience.com, follow us on our Instagram, and just reach out to me. If you have a question, maybe I can help you out, even if you don't work with me. But I would love to work with people. I just love seeing people blossom. Like Michelle was just a little seed in the ground, and now she's this beautiful podcaster that is hitting 200 shows just on this particular show. So I'm available for anyone.
Okay, thank you, Tony, so much. And Pod Experience has its own Instagram now?
Yep, it does.
Okay. Pod Experience. You can see it under the PODXPERIENCE.
That's right.
So, well, Tony, thank you so much for taking the time and for doing this with me today.
You're welcome,
I personally love podcasting. If you ask me, what my favorite marketing tool is, absolutely 100%. It's podcasting, but it's so much more than that. So,
amen, sister.
All right. Well, audience, thank you. And looking forward to having you enjoy the 200th episode of the Money and You Show coming up next week. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Party.